I feel like we need the visual of us dancing here. Stacey, what do you think? There's not a lot to sing.
I love it. Not perfect Monday.
I just felt.
I don't want to turn it off, but I will.
I don't know. This Monday, I think, because yesterday was kind of dreary, and I felt like, so I started. I think I posted it on my Facebook. I was watching this Friends blooper reel for 9 minutes, and it made me laugh, and I felt better. And sometimes you just have to laugh, or you have to dance and sing.
I agree. And I did watch that. I love watching blooper reels. I think because you realize, again, I mean, this goes back to anything you see online. You see a finished product, but you don't see all the effort that goes into creating it. So even a scene on a TV show, like, again, you see the multiple takes and they're laughing and they can't get through it. So it's kind of fun to see that side of it. I love watching bloopers.
I know. It was so fun. So anyways, you need to kind of, things are kind of like depressing right now with, the still COVID and might get worse and people are worried about their jobs and stuff. So it's the perfect time, first of all, to take a deep breath and relax and try to, feel a little better. And then next is to kind of plan what you can do moving forward. And part of that is the importance of understanding how to master your expertise. So why is that important?
Well, I think it's an interesting, sorry, I'm moving my stuff around on Facebook over here. I think it's interesting because I think whether you say master your expertise or whether you say, you're an expert, it seems to be a word that's a little skittish. Like it makes people kind of go, hang on a second. I'm not sure I'm comfortable with that word. I'm not an expert. The line is
always, but I'm not an expert, right?
Well, because again, I think the concept of what people think is that if they say that they're an expert, it means that they have to know every single solitary thing off the top of their head with no hesitation about that thing. And I disagree with that, but that's what people think.
Exactly. So we've been talking, you guys have seen, we've launched Global Impact Accelerator, GIA, last week. We're really excited. And part of the piece that we talk about is your AI score, right? So it's your authority plus influence equals how much global impact you have. And so most people go, oh, that's cool. And then they go, oh, wait, authority? Yeah, so authority is essentially, authority and influence is really what makes you an expert. And it's not, again, about your credentials or all of that. It's about being able to be good at something, right? Being able to be good at something. So you have the content, and now you need the marketability of the content. And then that's what sets you up as your expert status, right?
So if you do not know what we're talking about, if you go to joingia.com, just scroll down a little bit, and there's a block in that site that says find out your score.
Right.
So you can click on that, and that'll take you to the quiz that you can find out what your AI score is.
Right. And it helps you understand what you need to do to improve it to get bigger. But the number one question is, well, what do I need to be an expert? Number one is real simple, is you need to have a niche, right? A niche. You need to have something that you are good at. And we've talked about this over and over in the past. Everyone has something they're good at. It's just about taking that, recognizing that you're good at it, that you have that singular focus and target, your signature message, understanding what that is, and then taking that and understanding how to market it so that you get that visibility across all channels. You are the go-to expert, and those are where the techniques come in. But by far, the most important thing is, what is it that you're good at?
So what's the advantage? What's the advantage of sort of niching down? So again, this is this is putting up my shingle, this is what I'm good at. This is my expertise, versus being, a little bit more of a generalist, where a lot of people feel that being that generalist is, it opens up their pot of potential customers. So I think, it's sometimes difficult for people to narrow that down. We talk a lot about clients and customers in regards to narrowing that target down, but we haven't really talked about what it means to narrow down your services.
Well, I mean, it's quite simple. I mean, we always, when we're talking about ourselves, we always say, oh, I just can do everything, right? I can do a little bit of everything, so I don't want to narrow it down. But if you turn it on the other side, if you're looking for somebody, do you look for a generalist or do you look for somebody who's an expert in one thing, right? If somebody is a family doctor, you don't want him doing surgery on you, right? So he's a generalist. And so I think the funny thing is that when we talk about ourselves, that's what we say. But when we talk about what we're looking for, we're like, oh, no, I want something specific. So if you are known, you're going to be top of the mind. Think about the experts or authorities that you see on any of the local news, right? They always go, oh, our resident expert in health, they always have a specialty that they focus on, right? And so they're the go-to expert. If you need to know how to drywall in a home, you're going to call the guy that basically says, I do drywall, right?
Well, it's interesting because, again, using the analogy of home repair, you think about, you have that sort of general contractor, and he outsources to the electrician who specializes in that, and
exactly,
the plumber who specializes in that. So somehow we can see it from that perspective. But when we go to kind of say what we do and what we specialize in, it's like, I don't know.
Sometimes you don't, sometimes you're not clear, or you think you're clear, right? You think you know, but then, when somebody, it's like you say this, you've said this before. It's like, how do people talk about you when you're not in the room? Oh, that's the girl from, or she does what? Like, so if they say, oh, she's a business coach, what does that mean? So does that mean you're going to go to her for any type of business? Are you going to go for her for marketing or financial? Are you going to her for implementation or strategy? Are you going to her for to write a business plan, or are you getting her to do your graphics? So, it's interesting how we just generalize people's background or what they do, but it's not our fault if they haven't told us. Stacy and I are really clear, right? I say I do strategy. Stacy produces. We have very different strengths. Can we do both? Yes. But what we're better at and prefer to do is what we talk about, right? So I'm not interested. If somebody says, I really want to do a podcast, can you help? I would say, no, go to Stacy. Because I'm not interested. No. Could I? Probably. Do I want to? Absolutely not. Because it would take me longer. It's not my expertise. It's not what I'm good at. It's not my strength. And so I think that's where people make the biggest mistake, because they're already going, I got to go on social media, right? I got to do my videos. I have to do my PDFs. I have to do downloads and opt-ins. And then you're like, okay, but what? What is it that you're actually going to talk about?
Yeah, it's interesting when you think about, just to kind of summarize, you've got that sort of, I'm everything to everybody, so it's like a square. This was just described to me many years ago, and it just really resonated with me. Then you have the I'm everything to a select number of people. So sort of that inverted triangle,
right?
Or you are a very specific, or a lot of things to a specific thing, or I'm a specific thing to a lot of people.
Right.
But the ideal is a small thing, very niche market that you're your specialty and you're the expert in, to a specific type of person. So that I guess I would call it, right? Like, or that line is the ideal. And it took me a very, very long time to embrace that concept.
Yeah.
I literally went from here, and I, constantly narrowing it down. And every time I narrowed, it was a fear of, well, wait a minute, am I closing doors? But what you don't realize until after you've done it is that the doors that open.
Exactly.
And that's the part that I don't think you can foreshadow.
It's like going into the mall. It's the exact same thing. You go into a mall, you go into a specific store because you know what they sell, right? You know what they sell. And so you go in there and you buy what you need. Why are department stores kind of going by the dinosaur? Because it's very general, right? Like, there's a little bit of shoes and there's a little bit of clothes and there's a little bit, but it's not like you go into a shoe store, it's shoes. You don't go to a shoe store for something
it's also
else.
distracting.
Yeah.
So I think it's very distracting. So just using the department store concept, that I go in for milk.
Yeah.
And now I'm walking by shoes, I'm walking by handbags, I'm walking by perfume, I'm walking by construction gear, like I'm walking by toys, and you get distracted and it's almost overwhelming when you don't understand. But if I can go into the convenience store, as an example, that really specializes in the things that I need, I go in, I grab my milk, and I leave.
Yeah.
So it's interesting when you think about it from the different industries that they can specialize and you appreciate their specialty.
Yeah.
So how does one figure out what they're good at?
Well, it's key. There's a couple of different ways to do it. Number one is simply, what you're good at. So start making a list, write it down, right? We talk about this all the time. What do people thank you for? They usually thank you for something that you do that somebody else doesn't do well. You do it well, right? So you don't think about it because you're just good at it. You're naturally good at it, but that's the kind of thing that you will make money on and be an expert. So that's very key. What are you good at? What do your friends come to you to ask you? What are your credentials? What's your job experience? Write that all down, because we have a tendency of not writing it down, right? But write it down. So you're in a job. If you're in corporate, what do you do? What is your strengths? It might not be your title. What is this? What are your strengths? And that's what you sort of drill down until you decide, okay, what am I really good at that I could teach someone else very simply and quickly, because I don't have to research it, right? You already know it. And it's
the challenge is that I kind of lost my train of thought for a second. Kind of, making that stake, but also understanding that, again, what your strengths are and what you're good at, it's easy. So it's almost like wait a minute, it's too easy, but this is like, it comes to me naturally. And why would I charge for this? It's,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's so fascinating, the thing that plays in your head.
And that's why it's people don't understand it, because again, it's too easy. They're looking for something hard, right? So most people that go, okay, I'm willing to go on an online business, or I'm willing to change my business, and they're looking to do something completely different. Whereas rather than do that, start with something so you can start making money, and then you can add to it as you go. If you're interested in something else, that's great. But right now, focus on what you do well. I mean, everyone that's out there that you follow online is usually good at something. And if I say a name, what are they good at? You can tell me, right? Like, that's how it works. So you need to be focused on what you're good at. And then be able to tell people that over and over again, because once you establish that one piece, that's what you're good at, that's your signature message, then you have to go to the next part, which is that's where you start creating content, right? Because to become an expert, you need to not just say, hey, I'm an expert in this, and you think that's it, you're done. That's where it starts. That's where it starts.
Well, and I think, so just, a little bit about, like, when I started as an entrepreneur way back, I had an idea. Sometimes that's a good thing. And I had an idea for a business. So I created the business, and I think I've told this story a little bit before, but I created the business, I created the website, I created business cards, I created marketing material. Like, I was already out of the gate to do this business, because I thought that was what I was good at. So then I got a client. Great. Yay me. And literally within 5 minutes of my first client meeting, she went, oh, you know about social media, because that's what I really need help with. And if that's what you know well, you know that stuff, forget the other stuff. So the whole business that I created, the entire entity, I never did.
Right.
Not 1 ounce of it.
That's why we always say, don't do business cards. Don't worry about logos. Don't worry about that stuff. Just
I had the best logo, and I spent so much money on this beautiful logo, my beautiful website, my beautiful marketing, and I use none of it.
And, and I'm kind of the polar opposite because I did all my stuff on my own. I did my own websites. I just used whatever I could for logos, whether it was like, a little wimpy program or something, but that's all I ever did. And same thing. I mean, I was always coaching and training and working in corporate and teaching business, but it took a long time to be able to figure out not so much what I was really, it's what I was really good at, but it was also what I wanted to do. Because you can be really good at more than one thing, but which one do you like to do? Because it's a lot easier to do things you like than to do things you don't. So you're allowed to say, I don't want to do this, right? I love this aspect of it. I mean, I love online training. I like reaching. Our goal is to reach millions of people. So that's what I'm interested in doing, right? That's where I want to go. Some people don't want to do that. They only want to be comfortable with their one-on-one coaching. Either way, the perception of you as an expert is equally as important.
Right.
Because as somebody is looking for a coach or a consultant on a one-on-one basis, you might not have to be everywhere, but if they perceive you as an expert because of what you've done to make that jump, then you're likely to get more clients. And
well, the other piece is the collaboration piece. So again, I think about coaches. That's a great one because a lot of people I do this, and coaches are really, they don't enjoy niching down. But the doors that it opens in regards to, I'm a blank type of coach.
Right.
Then as a coach who specializes in this area, I can go, oh, you know what? I'm not your person, but I know someone who is. And then that also comes back as well. So there's lots of people out there. There's always enough for everybody.
Yeah.
We don't need to be everything to everybody because you're right, especially from a coaching perspective. I know what I need. Yeah. I want to find someone who specializes in that, not someone who is willy-nilly and all over the place. And then you ask them a specific question. They're like, well, I don't really know the specifics, which is why, again, there are specialists in the medical fields, ones that specialize in specific things. I'm getting my ears done. I want someone who knows the ear, left, right, and center, and it's all they do.
And I think people with business coaches are notorious for being generalists. And let's face it, all the business coaches, I know their specialty. If I know them, I know what they do well and I know what they can't do. So, don't say, oh, I help all business people. Well, no, you help business people specifically. Some people are really good at launching, someone's new business. Some people are really good at getting their marketing out. Some people are really good at the financial aspects of launching a business or growing a business. But you need to figure out what you are and don't say you're everything. Right. I'm not a lot of the people that are looking for business coaches. I'm not the right coach. Right. I do very much strategy. So I'm interested in looking at a big picture and saying, okay, let's break it down. Let's go step, do this. I don't want to implement it. That's not who I am. I'm not good at that. I'm not good at producing. I just don't want to do it. I'm good at telling you, here's the plan. No problem. If you walk in today and I sat down with you, I could tell you after an hour, literally or less, I could tell you what I think you should do and what you're good at. But I don't want to spend the next, implementing. I'm not going to do your graphics and I'm not going to do your logo.
But now there's people who you said to ask, your friends or what do people thank you for? But I think another aspect is also just what brings you joy. Like what makes you happy in sort of the aspects of your business that you do. So I remember when somebody asked me that question a few years ago, it was like, when I can make all of these different things work together, this brings me joy. Like I literally get happy. People think I'm crazy. I've been called all kinds of crazy names. I'm insane and all that kind of stuff. But if you want to talk about pure happiness, literally I did it, blah, blah, blah. Like it just makes me happy. So I think that's another thing to think about, not only what do you get thanked for, but what part of your business do you really love? Like what brings you joy when you're talking about it? I always talk about the difference between LinkedIn and Facebook. I can talk about Facebook. Absolutely. I know it in and out. You're not going to get the same enthusiasm, even though we're on Facebook. right now, so I shouldn't say too much.
Yeah.
As you would if I get really excited when I figure out how to position different things on LinkedIn. Then you see me come to life.
But we're going to put a caveat in there, Stacey,
All right.
because something might bring you joy, but if you don't know how to make money at it, then I don't care how much joy it brings you because you got bills to pay. so there has to be a very,
yes, that is true.
You must have that
drinking wine. You can't necessarily make a business from drinking wine, even if it brings you as much joy as it can bring you.
Right, and you could so if you came to me, Stacey, and said, my favorite thing to do is drink wine, and I'd be like, great, let's do a podcast, let's do a book, let's do a program on how to enjoy wine for beginners, how to figure out what to pair with what. Like, I'd put this whole thing together, no problem. But here's the thing. It'll bring you joy. It'll be great. But I've put now monetizing to it, right? Because most of us please don't listen to that thing about if you build it, they will come.
Oh, yes, the Field of Dreams. It is not baseball. The dead people are not going to come out and play the game.
They're not. So you actually have to work. You can enjoy it. I mean, I love my clients. I love doing this. I love being able to. I get excited when I understand what to tell people, what they should do, where they should move to in terms of their strategy. And you can tell when I get excited because if somebody's doing a hot seat, I talk fast
and you get so excited and it's so much fun. But that, again, you get almost more excited for them than they are.
I do. And that's my little problem because I can see it all and then you have to go do it. So that's good. But that's what you have to understand, what it is. So if you figure out what you're good at, what you want to do, does it make you happy? Does it bring you joy? Great. Let's keep it there. Now you have to go, okay, how can I actually monetize it, right? How can I make money? That's kind of what we did through the GIA program. We said, okay, let's figure out your signature, right? Your signature message. Now let's put it through the process where here's where you can gain your traction and authority, and here's where you can make money on it, right? Because it's important. You've got your specifics, so now you have to produce your content. And then the content is a myriad of things, right? Because the content makes sure that you are accessible, that you're marketable, that you're engaging, that people start seeing you now as that leader in the field, as that expert. And experts, so everyone understands, whenever you say experts, they look at this big global thing, which we talk about, right? We talk about it. That's the goal. The goal is for you to imagine yourself as a global expert. That's the goal. However, you can be an expert in your community and make a lot of money, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, when you put yourself out there in regards to your content, then you start talking about what you want to be known as an expert in,
right?
Not everything else. So as much as I'll use yours, as much as maybe I would like sewing, which I hate, by the way. But if I started talking about, sewing, I'm getting down a road I know nothing about. Quilting, sewing machine, I don't know. I'm down a rabbit hole now.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't really know. So if you said, what does Stacey do? Well, she does a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And all of a sudden people, again, I go back to, I say this every time, people are confused. But if you stick to putting out content about that same thing over and over again, when they think of that topic, they will think of you.
Right.
And Catherine's just bringing up that she feels that that's the most difficult part. She says clarity on what I am good at.
Right.
It means I am a good listener and help others gain focus on eliminating negativity and stress in their lives.
So in terms of, Catherine, so you have a specific strategy and roadmap that you kind of take people through to give them that goal. They realize that goal by following your set pattern of what you decide to do. So if you have that, that's great. So you're really whether you want to call yourself a consultant, a coach, whatever, on stress management, on clarity, and on focus, right? So those are all pieces that relate to everyone. It's not just business, right? It's basically personal development or personal growth. So if you see yourself in that lane, if you are a personal growth coach, consultant that focuses on stress management and what was the other one? Clarity and focus, then all of a sudden, now saying that, I know what Catherine does, right? So why would you talk about anything else other than that? So everything you put out there should be about those topics. And then once you start rolling with it and you engage people and you demonstrate, you might do case studies that demonstrate what you've done with somebody to get them through. All of a sudden, that's who you are.
So I don't know who this is. It just says Facebook user, but just says I did my Geo scorecard, or AI scorecard, as we would call it.
Yeah.
It's not awful. However, it's clear I have more work to do. It was an eye opener to see where I need to focus to get a bigger global impact. So it's great. It's good to see that people are doing their scores. And Teresa's saying hers wasn't great either. Oh, Linda, that's who it was. And I know why and how. So that was the point of it. To know which areas.
Yeah. So we we put together a really clean roadmap to make it easy and simple for you to follow. Right. So you don't have to go buy the whole kit. You don't have to do that unless you're really, really ready to move. But the AI scorecard is free, and it's a customized report, and it will help you to understand where you're deficient on the score. So some of you might have a ton of content, right? You might already be doing blogs and writing, but your signature message is 0 because you're not clear and focused. And so if you're not very clear on what you do, it's kind of irrelevant how much content you have because nobody knows what you're talking about. So having like, 500,000 subscribers to something, but it's general and they'll listen to you, but they won't buy anything because they're really not sure what you sell.
So, that's a little bit of a problem. Yeah. I remember when you first told me, I remember us sitting down in a coffee shop many, many years ago. And I said, listen, I'm not able to get traction. And you're like, what are you telling? And it was I swear to you guys, this was like a 5-minute conversation.
Yeah.
It was, she asked the simple question of, what are you doing? I said, I'm this, this, and this. And it was very much of a social media generalist at that time. And I was doing a whole bunch of stuff. And she goes, well, what's your favorite? And I said, LinkedIn. This is how long our conversation was, literally, as I'm telling you. And I said, LinkedIn. And she asked why. And I explained. And she goes, so why don't you just do that? And I went, what? Well, why don't you just do that? I'm like, I don't know. And sometimes it just takes that external person to be able to sort of ask those very direct questions. I don't know what we did for the other 55 minutes of our meeting, but
I keep telling people over and over, if you have the opportunity, like, to join a hot seat, if there is somebody that does strategy, it doesn't have to be me, but that does strategy, then ask the question, just say, what do you see? This is what I do. Put it all out there, and don't say, well, this is what I want to do and this and that. No, but what do you do right now? Because that will tell you. I guarantee you guys, if you do the AI scorecard, you'll be really surprised, because sometimes we think that we actually are very clear and we know what we're doing, but we don't. And we've been there, Stacey, I've been there too. And I have a tendency of jumping because I get really bored. So and I've done that. And whatever is interesting to me, that's kind of where I go in what I'm doing. What the key is for me to understand through all the iterations of everything I've done is everything I've always done. The thing I've enjoyed most is the strategy, is putting it together, is putting that roadmap together, because that's what I see. And so when I realized that's it, then I just was able to package it and not have to say, oh, I launch businesses. No, I don't. I really put together strategy for people so they understand what they need to do in their own business to move forward. So you might be doing something that is the right thing to do, but it's overshadowed by all those other layers, right? All those other, like, I can do this and I can do. You need to take the little that little handle, you're like a statue, and underneath all that, chip it away, and underneath that might be the person you're supposed to be. Right.
Well, and I think that's exactly what you just said is sometimes the danger zone, which is I can do anything.
Yeah,
I can. And it was interesting. I was listening to a video this morning and I started to laugh because I've never heard of a marketing person talk and use a reference of Rambo. So, so I just have to share that literally it was this concept, but it was like literally it's like you're Rambo and you've got the gun and you're just going hoping with something. And it's the same thing when it's like you're literally going, well, here's all the things I can do. What is it going to stick to for that person? What's it going to stick to? And then I find it hard too to switch gears when you're kind of trying to be a little bit of everything, right? When you're like, oh, sorry. So what did you want to talk about? Like I can do this 5,000 things. What was it that you wanted? And then switching gears to the next call and to the next call. It's difficult, which is why specialists are specialists.
And if you're working with people or different different projects, and it's exhausting to do that project. It weighs you down. It's because you don't want to do it. You'd rather be doing something else, right? So
procrastination.
And we always, we're afraid to let go, right? We're afraid to let go because we're like, oh no, we can do it. No, go ahead and say someone else can do it. Look, they can have that part and I'll just stick with the parts that I like. Because wouldn't you rather feel good? You don't have to be jumping up and down happy about what you're doing, but you have to at least not hate it. Right?
Well, and that just goes back to what I said earlier, which is your competitor literally can then become a referral source.
Yeah.
When you specialize.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because then they realize that you're not doing all of this, that you're just doing this one piece, and it makes the collaborations much bigger, opportunities much bigger. Absolutely. And people just know what you're good at. So what are other ways or another way that somebody could narrow down their focus if
there's a lot. I mean, there's the traditional ways, which are the strength finders and all the quiz tests that you guys can do, right? And there's lots online that you can find out to just, it really reiterates what your strengths are, right? And it does help. My favorite one, we've talked about it before, is called howtofascinate.com. That's, I think that, and it is not a strength test. It is a how to market test. So it will tell you, which is amazing because it's literally 3 minutes or something. It will tell you how people perceive you. So it's not about your strengths, it's how people perceive you. But that's really important because if people perceive you as, an innovator and a strategist, or that people perceive you as, a deep thinker and, a tinkerer. And so it'll tell you so that you not only know how to market yourself, but you can kind of sit back and go, oh, that's what people say about me. That's what people think. Okay, then I can market it differently, right? I wouldn't market myself as, somebody who's going to spend a lot of time talking about your feelings when I'm coaching you. And, and I'm not that person, but I'm a certified yoga teacher, meditation teacher, and I teach all that, right? So I have the capability of doing, but would I do it in that manner? No.
Well, I think what's interesting is the one thing that a lot of people don't know about you is that you're techie. Like you are like a tech queen as well. Yeah. And you can very easily figure out all these things and do it probably better than most.
Yeah.
But that's not what somebody hire you for.
I love tech. And Stacy knows we talk about it. We get all excited when something new comes, just like the new Mac software came down the other day. And oops, sorry. So we get really excited. I love doing tech for myself. Don't
matter what your comment. I'm fuming over here.
I know she's still waiting for it. But so what I would rather, so can I do StreamYard? Of course I can. Can I set up everything myself? Of course I can. Would I prefer Stacy to do it? Absolutely, because she likes it more. And I just wanted to show up and be the dancing monkey. That's all I want, right?
Yeah.
And so,
but again, in the opposite front, would I trust you to do it? Absolutely. Right. Do I enjoy doing it? Absolutely.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you do things that are your strengths?
Right. So you have to take those things into consideration. So again, how to fascinate, there's a charge to it. I don't know if it's 39 or 89 or something. There's no referral link, so I can't tell you.
Teresa likes to talk about the personal stuff. She's just pointing out that.
See,
so
and that's great
for people like her, though.
She needs it, right? And if, for those of you who've ever been a client of mine or have ever had a strategy session with me, I am not, how do I start? I usually go, hi, hey, how are you? And you're like, good. And if you're ready to talk about your personal stuff, I say, okay, what are we working on today? Because that's what I'm doing. My mind is already over here. Because when I get on the phone with you, I've already probably thought for the last week since I haven't talked to you about what I think you should do on the next piece. But I get it. You might be sick and stuff, but I'm not the person to say, oh, you should do this. You should talk to somebody else. I'm not your coach. But you have to know that and don't pretend, right? Don't pretend that you're something that you're not, right? So, Stacey's fully capable of doing strategy, right? Fully capable, but there's pieces she's not going to do. And she's going to say, no, not interested.
And you know what is, it's absolutely the power of the word no as well. I can't that word is, can you do this? And you kind of stop and you're like, yes, I can. Yes, However, I'm not going to, and you're going to say, no, I know somebody who can do it better, or I know somebody who would be a better fit for you, or whatever the case may be. That is fantastic. And that is such an empowering way to go, yeah, I'm going to honor myself. But it's also really helpful for people. Again, if we were confused because you're just like, I'm a business coach, I'm a business coach, I'm a business coach. We wouldn't know what type of person to refer to you. My first thing when someone says, I need somebody, okay, well, she's straightforward. She's action oriented. And she's not going to spend a lot of time on the phone talking about how you feel. We're going to get things done. And then the person goes, yes, that's what I need. I don't want to be the warm and fuzzy. Perfect.
Yeah. Right. And then, and you have, for example, the reason why Stacy and I work so well together is we really do enjoy different things. Right. So we've been working on Gia and AI for quite a long time now. We want to make sure it was perfect and tight for all you guys. And we did. I love writing. I can write scripts, I can write videos, I can do all that stuff. I don't want to actually do it though. So then I go, okay, here you go. It's on the Trello board, Stacy. Go do your thing. And then I always do. I have a tendency of giving her software and I go, can you go figure this out? And she's like, oh my God, new tech. Yay. Right? Before I can get it out of my mouth, she's already logged in because she knows all my passwords. So she's already logged in and already produced something. And all I did was buy it. I looked at it and I said, this looks cool. We should get this. And I buy it. And then I tell Stacy and boom, all of a sudden we have something. Right?
Yeah, because it's easy for you. And again, that's the whole point of why we're telling you, what's easy for you. For Teresa, it's easy for her to talk to somebody about, on the more personal level.
Right.
And Thea is saying that she's to the point, finding that solution kind of person. So it kind of sometimes it can kind of go past sort of what you do, but it's also honoring who you are and the type of person you are so that people can understand. They can get that all through your, and that's, again, I'm going to just say it on a side note. This is why video is so key, because people get to know you through your actions, how you talk. So if somebody was looking for somebody maybe that's a little bit more soft-spoken, or they're looking for somebody that's a little bit more vibrant and high energy, you can make that determination based on not only how you've niched your services down, but about your personality, so they can get to know you and fit. And that's so important as well when you do determine sort of that road you're going to go down to, yes, this is my lane. and here I'm hanging out my shingle to say this is what I do. But it's also understanding and honoring who you are and not trying to be somebody else.
And I think it's important to remember that, Stacy just said, honor who you are, right? It's important if you notice that you have to do videos and you don't want to do videos, it's probably because you're not honoring who you are. You're not doing it. You're doing a video how you think it's supposed to be done. It's in a different voice. It's not your voice. And once you do that, again, what we talked about, it becomes hard, right? It becomes exhausting. You feel very heavy when you're doing it. So Stacy and I, when we started this, we said, we are just who we are. We're going to sing, we're going to dance, we're going to drink wine on Friday nights. It's okay. That's who we are, and we're comfortable with it. So do we transition if we have to do a certain corporate? We stay within the parameters of what they're requiring.
Yeah, exactly. But we're still us.
Yeah.
We're just not singing and dancing.
No. And so the key is, so I've told this, the How to Fascinate, the quiz, the first time I did it. So I struggled for a couple of years because everyone said, oh, you have to work on, when you're doing videos, you have to work on the trust factor and this. And it was so like, those words were kind of, I didn't even get it. I didn't understand it. So I just didn't do much. I did the How to Fascinate quiz. And they did all my things, and they give you what you're good at, what your strengths are. And then it also tells you what you shouldn't worry about, not weaknesses. And mine was, don't worry about that trust thing. Because when you do your stuff on what you're good at, right, your knowledge, your abilities, that's built in. So rather than I was trying to get something that I didn't understand, wasn't working. And meanwhile, if I just focused on what I was good at, it would have naturally happened. So that's why I recommend it. Again, we don't have any ownership in the business. We should. We should have a lot of ownerships in a lot of businesses.
Right? I know, right? The way we promote stuff, honestly, it's crazy. Well, Colin, good job. I see that you've posted about the fact that you did your AI score.
Yay!
And he's loving just that whole competition contest aspect to win it. So good job, Colin. Thank you for posting.
For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, Stacy, about the contest.
Yes. So again, if you go to Join Gia, hang on, I'll put it up on the banner.
Yay.
Because I can. Go to joingia.com. At the very top of that page, it actually says, what exactly does it say? Enter to win a free scholarship. So you can win the whole program for free. So if you click on that, you'll just have to enter your email address, and it goes into all the different ways that you can win it. So it basically keeps a tally. So I've logged in this morning and I saw the amount of people. I was actually really, to be completely honest, I went, wow, there's a lot of people that are competing. And we can see the list of entries that they have. So I have them all in front of me right now. I can see all the different entries based on what they've done. So you can share it on Facebook. You can do the AI score. You can click to the website. You can become an affiliate. All these different ways that you can accumulate points. And at the end of the week, so Sunday is the last day to compete in the contest. And then on Monday, we're going to announce live here next week. 2 people. So 2 people get the scholarships along with a session with the both of us to make sure that we're on the right track. So
that alone, guys, just having us for a couple hours, being able to focus on your business is huge. So you want to do that. You don't have to. You can just sign up for Gia and come along the journey with us. At the very least, you absolutely should do your free AI score, because it will truly give you some direction and focus as what you need to do in order to move forward. The truth is, our goal is to literally touch a million people. That we want to make you guys knowledge leaders. We want to make sure that we give you the tools and resources to be able to move out there and experience expertise status, authority status out there, regardless of whether it's in your local market or if it's in a global arena. But that's what we've been doing all along on Mastermind City and On Point. That's what we've been doing. We have been working towards giving you the tools And if you've been with us since the start and you've been taking notes, you have a lot of information to be able to go out there and do it. But if you want a more systemized, where you can follow the yellow brick road in a matter of 6 weeks and have everything nailed, then take a look at Gia, because you will absolutely want to join us. It's going to be a blast. Everything we do is fun, right, Stacey? Because we just
well, you can post a video of you singing and dancing, and you'll get a whole slew of points.
Yeah. So we love games and gamification. So we are really impressed with people that will just go out there. So if I really want something, I'll do it, right? I'll push my stuff. I'll post it. I'll do everything, because here's the thing. If you show that you're actually interested in something, then maybe that's your first step in saying, okay, I'm in the game. I'm going to start. Whether I do a course or a freebie or do whatever, I'm going to start. And people will see that and go, cool, what can I do to help?
Okay, so Teresa's also commenting on Colin's video. And Colin said he put the video up. So now I'm curious to see whether it was singing and dancing.
Did he sing and dance?
I don't know. Or whether it's a video. I haven't seen it yet. So I'm going to have to look at that as soon as we're off. But in saying that, I think we need to wrap it up for today, because I need to go look at that video.
Okay, so your tech tool today is really simple. You can go and do the scorecard, right? Yeah. That's your tech tool, because it's customized. It's customized to you. So I want you guys to go out, do it. And you, if it's just for you, it's free. It's free. So don't sit there and go, oh, maybe I'll go do it eventually. Just go to the link and do it. It'll take you literally like 5 minutes.
Singing and dancing. So, okay. So your scorecard, apparently to watch Colin's singing and dancing video, that is your second tech. So scorecard is first tech.
And can I give you one more assignment? You got to one-up Colin. Come on. I think we have to one-up Colin. Tomorrow, Stacey and I are together. We might have to put some costumes on and dance a little around, right?
Hair dryer, flashlight.
Yeah.
All right, guys, have a good week. Don't forget to post about your scorecard, because I'd like to see what everyone's doing.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. See ya.